Hello, today we're going to be talking more about nomenclature basics. But first, I would like to cover certain things that you must know in order to be uh, efficient when it comes to naming structures. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is how certain structures, like this one, can also be drawn in different ways. So, this is an alkane straight chain. It has how many carbons? Let's count. One, two, three, four. Okay. There's another way to draw this, and that is this way. For example, this will also have the same amount of carbons. Okay. This has four carbons, and so will this one have four carbons. So let's write these are called isomers. Okay, so let's write the condensed formula for this. So this is gonna be CH3, CH2, right? Because we have two of them here. It's gonna be like this, and then CH3. This one is gonna be CH3. There is one, two, three. So we put them in parentheses, and this one is CH, right? These two have the same amount of carbons and hydrogens. Okay, if you take a look at these, same amount. They have four carbons, and they have 10 hydrogens and 10 hydrogens. So this and this as well. So that's 10 hydrogen. It's just a different way of drawing it. Okay, so that is what makes isomers. I just wanted to clear that. Another thing I wanted to cover is, for example, we have an alkane, right? Let's say we want to make this alkane, this is a straight chain alkane. If we want this alkane to be branched, we would add what is called in chemistry a substituent. Okay, this is a substituent. Let me give you another example just to get the hang of this. This is a straight chain alkane, and when you add the substituent, also called branched alkanes, it would be something like this. And it doesn't matter where it's added, as long as it's, you know, something added to it. It looks branched. Another way, for example, this one. You add one here, and these are methyl groups. Remember, this is only one carbon, right? It's not two carbons, we're just adding one carbon. So the methyl is CH4, as we did in the last video. Okay, now I want to move to the alkyl group. Okay, so what is really an alkyl group? An alkyl group is a functional group that is made out of carbon and hydrogen. Okay, and what does an alkyl group? When an alkyl group is added to a straight chain, like we did earlier, an alkyl group is added to a straight chain, it removes one hydrogen. Okay? And its name goes from ane at the end to il, YL. Let me give you an example. For example, like we said, methane, right? This is an ane, methane. It turns into methyl when it is an alkyl group. That is when you add it, it turns into methyl. So that CH4 right? We said methane is a CH4. But let's say we want to add the methyl, right, into this straight chain alkane. It's gonna become, it's gonna be called methyl when it's added here, right here. It's gonna be called a methyl. And like we said, it removes one hydrogen. So this is not gonna have four hydrogen when it's added. And I told you before that the carbon on this side will have three hydrogens, not four, because it already has this bond here. So that becomes a CH3, right? And its name is now methyl, not methane, it's methyl when it's a substituent. We're going to do more examples. If you don't understand, don't worry, it'll come to you, okay? Let's do another example. Trust me, I'm going to do more than just two examples. Let's do, what did we cover last time? Let's do ethane, for example, okay? So we know that ethane is two carbons, right? Two carbons. And that's how we drew it last time. Ethane is, take a guess, what is it gonna become? It's an ethyl. It's gonna become ethyl. So let's add this ethyl. Now it is an alkyl group. Let's add this ethyl to this chain right here. Okay. So before we add it, I want you to look at all, both of these have three hydrogens on each side. But if I were to add it, let's add it here. Let's add two carbons, right? One carbon here, one carbon here. We're adding it, right? When we add it, we lose a hydrogen because this is going to become a middle carbon and it's going to have two other bonds. You see the two other bonds? Only needs two hydrogens, and this one is going to keep its hydrogens like that. So that is what it meant by removing a hydrogen. So this is an alkyl group. It's not ethane anymore. It's called ethyl. This is an ethyl group. This right here, ethyl. Okay, when it's added to a straight chain alkane. So there's one more concept I would like to go through and to go over. And I will be doing more examples in the next videos, so no worries. Now, another thing I want to cover as far as the namings go, you need to know this concept. So let me draw this branched alkane with substituents. All right, let's look at these in yellow here. These outside carbons that are CH3, okay? All of these outside ones. These are all connected. For example, this is connected to one other carbon. So it is called a primary carbon. Okay. The same thing goes for this one. This is a primary carbon because it's only connected to one other carbon. Same thing goes for this one. It's a primary carbon. It's only connected to one other carbon, right? They're all connected to one carbon. The same thing goes for this primary carbon. Primary carbon again with this one, okay? Now let's do the other one, the other kind of carbon. So we have primary and we have secondary. Let's see this one, for example. It is connected to two carbons. So it is secondary carbon, okay? Now let's see this one. Let's do another color. This one in blue, okay? It is connected to how many carbons? Feel free to stop the video. 1 carbon, 2, and then 3. Because it is connected to 3 carbons, it is a tertiary carbon. Okay? So you're gonna use these in the future for the sake of understanding. Make sure you have it down and understand it. Now let's do another one. This one right here is connected to how many carbons? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's connected to 4, so it is going to be a quaternary carbon. Okay? So you just need to know, as far as placement and carbons, you need to know which is primary, which is secondary, etc. All right, now let's do hydrogens. With the same molecule, let's do same thing. Let's do hydrogens. Does it apply the same thing for hydrogen? Yes, but there is an exception. So these are all gonna be also primary hydrogens as well, because its carbon is primary. They're all gonna be, all of these are going to be primary hydrogens. Okay? Because their carbon is also connected to 1 carbon, therefore it makes them all primary carbons. Okay? Primary carbons. Now let's look at this secondary carbon here. These are also going to be secondary because their carbon is connected to 2 other carbons. Now let's look at this one, the tertiary carbon, right? There's 1 hydrogen, right? This hydrogen is also going to be a tertiary hydrogen, right? Now, let's look at the quaternary carbon. Does it have a hydrogen? No, because it already has 4 bonds. So it is impossible for a hydrogen to be quaternary. This cannot happen, okay? Because it's already connected. So hydrogen can be primary, secondary, tertiary. That's it. Okay. So make sure you know this concept, um, so that you understand what's going on. I'm gonna be doing more of this alkyl group namings in the next video. So please subscribe, and I hope you learned something with me today, and happy learning.